Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back to my channel where we take an open-minded approach on learning new things, a new way to live the best life we can every day. If that sounds like something you're interested in, consider subscribing and following along this journey with me. First, I'd like to give a shout out to my husband for my shirt, Walk in Integrity, and on the back it says, Walk in Your Worth. Today's topic is self-love. So I keep telling you guys about the fifth agreement, and there's like two passages that I wanted to read that kind of helped tie in the importance of self-love. So he says, the fear of being rejected becomes the fear of not being good enough, and we start searching for something that we call perfection. We also try to be good enough for everybody else, but we are no longer good enough for ourselves because we can never live up to our image of perfection. And I think that we kind of lose or diminish our self-love because we are searching for this quote-unquote perfection. And I just think we need to kind of reevaluate that and do things a little better. Now, when you think of self-love, a few words come to mind: self-respect, self-compassion. And I feel like once we become adults, like we know how to do, like we know what respect is, we know compassion, self-esteem, all that stuff. The issue is we know how to give those things to other people. We don't necessarily know how to give those things to ourselves. An important thing to remember is self-love and self-compassion is a major key to our well-being and a healthy mental healthiness. A major thing that we should know is that self-love and compassion are major when it comes to our mental health and well-being. Did you know that self-love and compassion actually allows you to make healthier decisions for yourself? Research has shown that when you have a healthy level of self-esteem, you're more likely to choose the thing that nurtures your well-being and serve you well. Before we go any further, we need to discuss what is love. And we all need to acknowledge that everything we thought love was, at some point you find out that that's not the case. Love means something different to everyone, and we need to figure out what love means to us. And if there are any unhealthy aspects of the word love that we've been dealing with, we need to address those. When you look up the definition of love, there's a few things that come up. The willingness to prioritize another's well-being or happiness above your own, a feeling of attraction, respect, or care, and to have your best interest at hand. For the sake of this video, I think the best definition is the willingness to prioritize your well-being and happiness, and also to respect yourself. And then last but not least, to have your best interest at hand. So we need to start doing things that are for our best interest, because that will help us become our best selves. Drink your water. Okay, because if I don't, I fall behind. And then I took some notes because I think that I would not be able to do a self-love video without talking about my girl, Louise Hay. I told you guys about Louise Hay back in the beginning of maybe like the second or third video. And Louise has so many videos out on YouTube. She has a whole bunch of books. She's passed away now, but she has been very instrumental to self-help, self-love. She covers a whole bunch of topics. And one of her videos that I kind of came across quite early in this journey is the 10 ways to love yourself. And, you know, it's hard for us to take ownership of the fact that we were not loving ourselves appropriately. I thought that I loved hard and I loved well, and that is true. However, I didn't know how to love myself with that same amount of energy. So I had to learn how to make some changes and start applying a lot of that energy to myself. So for the sake of this video, you know, I don't want it to be hours long. So I will give you what she says the 10 things are, but I will only speak on about 3 or 4 of them. So her 10 things, the 10 ways to love yourself: stop all criticism, forgive yourself, don't scare yourself, be gentle, be kind, be patient with yourself, be kind to your mind, praise yourself, support yourself, be loving to your negatives, take care of your body, and love yourself today. Do it now. Okay, so I think so the main way that she mentioned that worked for me was the first one, to stop all criticism. And I knew that I like I told you before, I used to be very judgmental, very critical on everything, everybody, whatever. And I never realized that that same energy, I was gauging it towards myself, and that was causing harm. So I had to learn to stop criticizing myself. And once I was able to conquer to stop criticizing myself, I then learned to stop criticizing everybody and everything else. So that's the main key. An example of criticism is just always, like, you can't even take a compliment. Somebody gives you a compliment and you kind of come back with something negative about yourself of why you didn't deserve the compliment. So if someone says like, "Oh my God, girl, you look nice," and then we go, "Ugh, but my stomach is too big," or "My thighs are too big," or "My butt is too big," or, you know, something like that. So that is a form of criticism. So Louise teaches on how to stop doing that. And it takes time. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. But what you do is every time you criticize yourself, you need to then come back with something positive. So that's when I learned how to start taking pictures, because I had stopped taking pictures. Like there's, I don't even know how many years, but for years, you would not find me in a picture. I was always the picture taker, never the person in the picture. And a lot of the memories, I'm not even in them. Like I know I was there and I got pictures of like the sites and everybody else that was there, but you could not find me in a picture. So at some point in 2018, I think it was towards the end of 2018, I decided that I needed to commit to taking a picture at least once a week. And I even had to teach myself how to smile. Like, I didn't even know how to smile appropriately. I was always a laugher. I was never really a smiler. So it took, I don't know how long it took, but I know literally I had to practice my smile. And I didn't know how to take a selfie. Couldn't even figure out how to hold the camera appropriately. So I went out and got a selfie stick, and then that became my Sunday shenanigans. And every Sunday, because I knew if I didn't get dressed any other day, I knew Sunday I was going to be at least looking decent. And I would get dressed, whether it's taking a picture in the living room or outside the house, at church, at the gas station. Like one time I got a picture. All right, my battery died. But basically, I just learned how to take pictures and enjoy every moment. But another key to stop criticizing yourself is to stop comparing yourself to anybody or everyone else. And it's hard not to do that, especially in this social media world where everything is filtered, edited, photoshopped. Some people actually get depressed because they'll read Facebook and Instagram posts, but they never stop to think, like, a lot of people aren't posting the bad days. They're posting like milestones, like, oh, I just bought a house, I just got married, I'm having a baby, or whatever. A lot of people aren't posting the negative things that they encounter, but yet here we are comparing ourselves and our lives to what other people are posting. And once we learn to stop comparing ourselves to anybody but ourselves, we will also learn to stop criticizing ourselves and to embrace ourselves at each level that we are in, because we deserve love, we deserve grace, and that will help us become healthier in the long run. I already know this video is going to be long, so I think I'm just going to stick to 3 key points. And the next point that Louise talks about is supporting yourself. And that kind of goes along with when I said in a previous video about squad goals, basically finding you a network of support. If you have sons, you find people who have sons who are doing the same thing that your boys are doing. If you have daughters, you find the same thing. Whatever your hobbies are, whatever you're struggling with, try to find some people who have overcome what you're going through. So definitely support is real big. Seeking counseling or a therapist sometimes is frowned upon, but it's very beneficial in conquering the well-being of yourself. A lot of people are not transparent about it. A lot of people have therapists and they don't tell you about it. But I kid you not, having a therapist is one of the best things that we can do, because you need that impartial person to be able to, you know, just kind of sometimes just to vent and explain like what you're going through. And sometimes our perception may not be a healthy perception, and that therapist can help us work through the different obstacles that we go through. And also get you some friends who are not afraid to tell you when you are out of order or out of control. If you're making wrong decisions and your friends are co-signing that, that's not good. You need friends who are not going to be afraid to say, we need to talk, you know, like what's going on or whatever. You need friends that will check you, and that's important. And lastly, but definitely not least, is to forgive yourself. This kind of goes along with the competition that I was talking about, like stop competing and comparing yourself to other people. A lot of us are living according to societal standards and guidelines, or family standards and guidelines, and we beat ourselves up if we miss the mark. If, you know, oh, I didn't get married by a certain age, or I didn't have kids by a certain age, I didn't finish college, I didn't go into this certain career, you know, whatever the case may be, we have to forgive ourselves. And in the process of forgiveness, we start to learn that half of the pressure that we put on ourselves was never our plan to begin with. Transparent moment, for example, for me, I had my oldest son when I was 17. Now, nowhere was that part of anybody's plan, but that's what happened. And I think that society, family, you, whatever, you put this added pressure on yourself because you're in this situation that a lot of people aren't prepared for. And a lot of people don't know how to handle that. And I had to learn to get rid of that, because it was almost like I was living life in a victim mode. I was living in the quote unquote, I'm a teen mom victim mode. And that only gets you so far. That only gets you so far. And I had to learn that, okay, no, I didn't do things according to the set timeline or standard, but I had to make it work. And I had to get rid of that victim mode, because there was eventually you start meeting other people with your same situation. So for me, I started meeting other teen moms who were able to overcome and to still be successful. Like a lot of times we act like it's the end of the world just because certain standards aren't met, and that's not the truth. And I try to teach my kids, like, yes, the most optimal choice would be to not be a teen parent if you could help it. However, if that happens, it's not the end of the world, and you can make that work too. Now, don't misunderstand what I'm saying. That's definitely, it's harder that way. And I don't even really think you can prepare someone on what to expect as far as being a teen parent, because you can tell them it's hard, but if they feel like it's something that they can handle and conquer, it still might happen. So once I learned to let go of that victimizing thought process. I was able to also stop criticizing myself. I wasn't a bad person. I just didn't have the right amount of guidance that I needed. Now, guidance was there, but it was limited. And at the same time, some of the guidance I wasn't listening to. So once you kind of get over that and just kind of face the fact that life is not over because you now have this obstacle, you just have to learn how to overachieve where you are, reassess, and just keep grinding and get things done. So just to recap, a few examples of how we can show ourselves love is stop trying to change other people and focus on changing yourself. Ways that I show love, actually meditation is one of the ways that I show love, because I try to calm my mind, even if it's only 5 minutes, and I try to listen to what I really want to do. And if there's things that I know I don't want to do, then I don't do them, because in my mind, if I can't do them from a genuine place, I'm wasting my time. Another way is like a workout of any sort, like walking, riding my bike, anything. Eventually you'll kind of figure out like an exercise routine or whatever that's going to work for you. But I do try to get some type of movement in every day. And once you establish your level, whatever that is, then you need to kind of stay there and then level up. Never allow yourself to decline, but level up as time goes by. Another way to show yourself love is to have a me time. It could be a me day, a me hour, and sometimes me time can be we time. If you have kids, you definitely need some type of adult time. It can be going to get your hair done, nails done, pedicure, whatever. It could be just as simple as going for a ride by yourself just to clear your thoughts, listening to music, just time away from the kids, a nap, a bath. Like I think that we complicate things, and it doesn't have to be complicated. It could be the most simplest form of self-care and self-compassion. We can buy ourselves candles, we can light them and just kind of set the mood for ourselves and just kind of sit here. Maybe if you have a nice view outside, you could look off the back porch, little soft music. If you're I'm not a wine drinker, but if you're a wine drinker, you can sip some wine. Like for me, I would sip my coffee, and I would love, I'm speaking it into existence. My next place is going to have a beautiful view from either a balcony or a porch where I could sit and drink my coffee. But I think I've talked enough for now. I hope that some of these tips are helpful, and I will also link Louise's, I'll link a couple of her videos down below, because actually affirmations are great, and she goes into all that. So I just want to help us do better, get better, and feel better. Until next time, continue to walk in integrity. Continue to walk in your worth. Bye.